Mantis flip coin! Kimiko shouted, avoiding a red blast from her sparring opponent. She leapt into the air, doing several forward turns at the same time, and landed directly behind Raimundo. Kazuzu Adam! Raimundo called, trying to hit Kimiko again. Mantis flip coin! She dodged the blast again. Lotus Twister, Earth! Clay's arms extended, twisted, and turned to stone. He swept Kimiko and Raimundo down in one swing of his rubbery yet completely solid arm. Golden Finger! Umi called from a roof. The three monks instantly froze in their place. Umi jumped down from the rooftop. Mikado Arm! He called, holding another Shingang Wu. His arm suddenly bulked up and he swung down at Clay, smashing his arm completely off. It reverted back to its original state. Umi ran to Kimiko and grabbed her flip coin, which she just flipped before Umi froze it in midair, then took Raimundo's Kazuzu Adam. He was careful to point it upwards so when it unfroze it fired a shot. He then ran to Clay and quickly pulled away his lotus. Golden Finger! He called again, unfreezing everybody. The three got up and got to grips with the ends of the training. The aim was to obtain everybody's Shingang Wu, and Omi had won. Nice one, Omi, Rai commented. I didn't see all up on that roof. Good play, partner. Clay tipped his hat. Thank you, dragons. I snuck up there while all the ruckus between Kimiko and He was interrupted. Fire viciously burst from a nearby doorway, heading straight at the monks. Kuzuzu Adam, water! Umi called, using the element to deflect the blaze. A mighty storm of steam erupted from the collision and the fire stopped, as did Umi's blast of water. From the steam, which took a long time to clear, came Dojo crawling along the ground. Guys, he wheezed. Guys, come to the skull room, quick! Dojo, did that fire come from you? Kimiko asked. The first sign I've had in years, Dojo noted. Sign? You mean? Raimundo asked. Yes, it's been an entire year and it may be hard to believe, but a new Shingang Wu has revealed itself, Dojo stated sternly at the dragon. Twilight paced back and forth in the vet office, waiting for her baby dragon to come back to her. Spike had recently been belching up fire, but with no scrolls or letters from any pony. She was told she could not see him when he was being examined, and she was extremely worried the moment she left the room. Twilight Sparkle, a nurse called. Twilight ran up to the unicorn nurse in a hurry. The pink pony levitated a clipboard with her magic. Her kitten cutie mark looked scorched. Is Spike all right? What's wrong with him? Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay, Twilight blabbered. The unicorn simply smiled and put a hoof on Twilight's mouth. Spike seems to be fine, Miss Sparkle. She patted her on the head. Would you like to see him? Oh, yes, please. Twilight calmed down. She followed the nurse into Spike's room. He was sat on a desk and looked rather sad until Twilight walked in. He jumped off the desk and ran to hug her. I'm okay, Twilight. I might just have gas, he smiled. Gas, Twilight. Gas! Twilight smiled, slightly creeped out over the dragon's enthusiasm. Wonderful, Spike. She looked toward the nurse. So, what's your diagnosis? We're not entirely sure. We haven't had symptoms like this before. Never heard of a dragon belching magical fire with nothing else. She read over her clipboard. So, it might not be gas? Spike frowned. Perhaps not, the nurse continued. Come back in, say, a week? Sure, Twilight said, looking down slightly. She trotted off for Spike to go back to Ponyville. They opened the door to the library, and Pinkie Pie jumped out almost instantly. Surprise! She shouted, popping a party popper at Twilight and Spike, sorry. The confetti landed on the unamused duo. Pinkie toned her happiness down a little and stepped out of the way to let them in. Rainbow Dash, Applejack, Rarity, and Fluttershy were also there. Sorry for the downer, guys, but we don't know what's up with Spike. We have to go back to the Canterlot vet next week, Twilight sighed. That's a swell shame, Sugar Cube. We made this cake just for Spike and all. Applejack revealed a cake in the shape of a gemstone that was also lined with gemstones. I'll eat it now, Spike drooled, floating to the cake. No, Spike, you can't. Twilight tried to object, but it was no use. Spike gobbled up the confectionery in one bite. Every pony giggled. Then his face puffed up. He turned a sickly green and started to float. The statue of a unicorn head in the center of the room also began to glow the green color. Spike couldn't hold it any longer. He belched at the statue and a portal appeared in its place, sucking the seven in. The monks rode on Dojo's back to the first Shingang Wu for a year. It was a bumpy ride as Dojo had gotten used to relieve of the horrible thing that happened to his body after an activation. Everyone gathered around Omi as he read from the sacred scroll. The Celestial Horn, he read. I've never heard of this before. The picture on the scroll depicted a man wearing a large horn on his head, then drawing a circle with it. A portal appeared and some equestrian creatures came through the portal. It says it's a one-time use Shengang Wu, Umi continued. It has the power to open a portal to a strange dimension. The portal leads to a place called He stopped. The image and text faded and the scroll folded up. What happened? Kimiko asked. I do not know, but I think there are some things we will have to find out for ourselves, Umi commented. It opens a portal to another universe? Clay muttered. What's with all them horses? No clue. They look a little small to be horses, didn't they? Raimundo noted. They did look the same size as Omi, Kimiko laughed. I am simply I am simply minuscule boned, Omi shouted. Small boned, Raimundo corrected. That too, Umi sighed. Get ready, folks. We're descending, Dojo said. The dragon prepared for landing. They arrived in a dark forest. There was a large light in the middle. Well, that's not obvious, Raimundo said sarcastically. Umi ran up to the light, which eventually formed the shape of a horn. He picked it up, but something stopped him. He looked directly opposite of him to see Jack Spicer. Long time no see, he smirked. Jack Spicer! The first Wu in a year, and I had a feeling you'd be after it, Umi commented. Where is Wuya? Not paired up with me anymore, Jack replied with a slight whimper in his voice. I'm riding solo now. Enough chatter, Jack Spicer. I challenge you to a Xiaolin showdown, Umi contested. Name your game, Omi, Jack accepted. The game is a magical obstacle course. The first to reach the celestial horn wins, Omi offered. I wager my monkey staff, Jack said, holding the Wu proudly. Against my Kazuzu Atom, Umi wagered. The two nodded in agreement and shouted, Let's go! Xiaolin Showdown! In a flash of light, the greenery of the forest began to twist around and a large temple rose up from the ground. The podium that the horn was statued on served as the peak of the temple. Jack and Omi got a quick glimpse of it before it shot off in another direction and the forest continued to build itself into an obstacle course. A confusing maze of mystical fire, water, and random gales completed itself. Omi's costume suddenly changed to his Wu Dai warrior gear, and did the other dragons. Spare Raimundo, who wore his Shokin attire. Gong Yi Tumpai! The contestants shouted, beginning the showdown. Umi instantly raced ahead and jumped over and ducked under bars, leaving Jack in the dust. The evil boy genius got himself together and also began to run. Monkey staff! He called, instantly assuming the form of a monkey. He chanted with monkey screams and caught up to Umi fast with his improved agility. There was a large pit ahead filled with lava. Neither Umi nor Jack could jump across. Several bursts of lava shot up from the pit, carrying a stone platform. Jack seized the opportunity and jumped across, destroying every platform as he jumped off it. There were no more rocks left, but Omi had a plan. He waited for the shot to calm down and jumped down into the pit. Omi, no! Kimiko cried from afar. There was no sound from the pit except a bubbling. Then came a voice. Kazuzu Atom! Water! the voice shouted. Umi rose up from the pit laughing. He held onto the atom tide as it sent a burst of water downwards, which was deflected by the lava and forced him upwards. Kazuzu Atom! Water! 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 He called 3 times, jumping off the other lava plumes. He landed on the other side, still behind Jack a considerable distance. Jack looked back and pressed a button on his wristwatch and called several jackpots. I've forgotten how tricky you are, Omi. Luckily, I have my own tricks too, he screeched and continued down the course. Umi jumped and broke a couple of jackpots, still running forward at the same time. Kazuzu Atom! He called, destroying another few in a flash of the woo. There was one left. Omi jumped on it and broke it off its head. It continued to fly in the opposite direction of the course, but Omi turned it around and rode on it to catch up with Jack. Kazuzu Atom! Water! He called again, unleashing a high-pressure blast of water to speed up the jackpot. Jack looked behind him and saw what was happening. Before he could dodge, Omi smashed right into him with the jackpot and continued on running as Jack struggled to get up from under his creation. He managed to eventually and continued to run after Omi. He spotted a nearby vine and grabbed it. He was going between vines at a speed that got him parallel to Omi, and he jumped back on the track. A large geyser was up ahead, which caused Jack to stop. I'm not going in there. My coat will get wet, he cried. Omi ignored his remark and continued running. Woodeye Neptune! Water! He called. The hot water separated and left a trail for Umi in the middle. He returned it to normal and shot the geyser back at Jack, pushing him much farther back into the maze. Peace in! Umi shouted, running to the temple. Raimundo just sighed. He would have thought that Umi had given up on slang by now. The temple was very low down. Omi had needed an extended leap to reach the celestial horn. He pulled a blue cylinder out of his pocket. His Wudai weapon? He can't use that. He only weighs 1 Shengang Wu, Jack screeched. Actually, genius, a Wudai weapon technically isn't a Shengang Wu. He can use it as much as he likes, Jojo laughed. Jack realized now that it was no use and sat down to watch his defeat. Shimo staff! Umi called. He struck the staff to the ground and balanced on it with one finger. It extended upward to the height of the temple. Umi jumped to the podium and grabbed the celestial horn. He had won. At the temple, the monks were sat in the courtyard, all looking at the new Shengang Wu. So what do you suppose it does? Clay asked. Something to do with another dimension, Umi mumbled. I don't like it. I think it may be Dojo sneezed fire right onto the celestial horn. It began to glow and shot a green orb of light upwards. The orb expanded, and out of it fell 7 creatures, 6 ponies, and a purple dragon.